Is this thing on? Is this thing on? I believe it is time. Did somebody say, watch party? What's good? What's good? What's good? Hope everybody's been enjoying the first half thus far, man. A little bit of a surprise so far, man. But good game thus far, nonetheless. But either way, y'all know how we do this thing, man. So start this thing out. Where's everybody watching from? You know how we do our thing, man. That's the intro, as always. Here in Pittsburgh, doing what I do best. Chilling like a villain. And shout out to the halftime show, too, man. What were your thoughts on The Weeknd doing his thing, man? I like the whole angelic intro. I thought I was back in church growing up, man. And I thought it was cool, man. It was a good little vibe. Oh, yeah, I see the chat going already. That's the way I like it. Yes, indeed. Okay. We got some Pittsburgh in the building. Shout out to you, Reginald. And we got Wheaton, Illinois. Okay, Peter. Shout out to Wheaton, Illinois. Yes. Say yeah. Where else we checking in at? Massachusetts in the building. Okay. All right. We got Mitchell Man in the house. Shout out. Okay. I can dig it. I like it. Man, oh man. But yeah, man, talk to me a little bit. How was that halftime? Oh, and shout out to the Bahamas. My man, Drew. We've been doing these for a couple times now, and I've never figured out, is it Drew or just Drew? Either way, my Nassau Bahamas brethren, let me know how you say it so I can make sure I'm saying it the right way going forward. I see you, Erica. North Kakalaki. And we got Messi in Iowa. The working man out in Maryland. Shout out. And then we got Eastern Ohio. But yeah, so what was everybody's thoughts on the first half? For me, like I said, definitely was a little bit surprised just at how slow the Chiefs started. But talking on the podcast earlier this week, we did bring this up. I said that because this is actually a home game for the Bucs, they've been down there around that Super Bowl atmosphere. They've been accustomed to everything that's been going on, and they look like the more comfortable team, especially early on. Whereas the Chiefs, that slow start, I mean, they literally got, I want to say it was either yesterday or day before yesterday when they got down there to Tampa. So really not a lot of time to soak it all in. So it just looked like in that first half, they had a little bit more jitters. They weren't executing the way that they needed to. And obviously the offensive line being as banged up as it is has definitely played a role thus far in the game. But this is the Chiefs we're talking about. And we've seen them how many times come back from being down multiple scores in big games. So yeah, I'm still over here just like, yeah, I think my pick's still good thus far. Not nervous? No. Hey, Tommy, you said the game is rigged. Come on, man. You know the storyline. Can you see it already? Tom Brady against all odds. During the pandemic, LeBron wins a championship. Brady wins a championship first year in Tampa. You can see it right now, man. You can see it. Hopefully it doesn't do that, though. I don't need that action yet. And honestly, man, and shout out to you, Eli, 757 in the building. So I got the Crib shirt on, man. Let them know. Crib all day, 75. Yes, indeed. But in terms of Kansas City's defense, the penalties, man, we saw the lining up offsides on the field goal, which ultimately led to a score. We also saw, and I think this would have been on the same drive with the multiple pass interference penalties, especially when they were in that red zone. And obviously Tyrann Mathieu had the penalty in the end zone. To me, those have been the things that's been killing them. I think situationally they've been fine for the most part, but the penalties, that's been their backbreaker right now. Hey man, I'm trying to see. I saw somebody mention a little earlier, man. Yeah, we have not got an L Bell sighting yet, man. So hopefully my dog get a little spin, just touch the paint a little bit. We've seen AB get a touchdown thus far. I mean, whew, I like it. My former Steeler brethren. McDavid said the DBs are selling the game. Hey, I'm not even gonna do. I'm not gonna do that. They are not. They would never do such a thing, man, because it's too big. They gotta have it. They gotta have it. But I wonder which storyline is bigger, right? Tom Brady winning his illustrious 7th Super Bowl, the most, a single player has more than any franchise. Is that the narrative they want to push? Or is it going to be the young and up and coming star slays the GOAT? He goes into Tampa, first time a Super Bowl has been hosted by the team that's playing in it, and he goes in there and slays the dragon. I mean, either way, it's going to be a great storyline. So that's why I'm like, I feel like even though I think, the refs are, especially in the first half, were a little bit too hands-on with some of these calls, I don't think that either team is going to get slighted from a officiating standpoint because, like I said, both of these teams, the storylines around it, the NFL loves both of them. We know this. Oh, Nick, man, I'm glad you called it out, man. Talking about the Kansas City Chiefs punter. Wow. You talk about big game jitters. My man is going through it. He can't hold the ball. He can't kick the ball the right way. It's crazy right now. But that's a part of it, man. When you're, this is first time in the Super Bowl. This is first action like this. It's different, man. It's really different. And obviously me, man, I played in the AFC Championship game, but even that had its jitters to go with it. So I can only imagine how much magnified it is for a Super Bowl. Man. But that rush, man, Tampa's rush has definitely been able to cause some discomfort and ultimately hurry up Mahomes. We've been seeing that a lot in this first half. And then even, starting out this third quarter, we've seen that as well. Yeah, man, I don't know what's going on with Tyreek. Outside of a couple screen passes, we haven't seen anything from him, which is unheard of, especially when you think about how dominant he was the first game against these guys. I think he had, 200-something yards receiving in the first quarter. It was nuts. But this time around, man, they've definitely done a way better job with their game plan and just sticking with it. And like I said, that rush has really helped them out in a big-time way, man. But look like the Chiefs, man, they still trying to hang on. They, doing enough to keep it interesting for a while. Oh, and also, got to do a giveaway real quick too, man. So just a little idea. Third quarter, I want the final score, okay? So put your third quarter final score predictions in the chat. Whoever has the correct answer at the end of the third quarter, giving you a nice little treat. I was about to say a prize treat, whatever you want to call it, but I got you, all right? So let me get those, like I said, what you think the end score is going to be in the third quarter, not at the end of the game, just at the third quarter, all right? Hey, all right, Joshua. Man, my man Biggie is doing well. For those that don't know, Biggie's my Frenchie, my first Frenchie. We got two, Biggie and Faith, like we talked about, named after Biggie Smalls, Faith Evans. Shout out to the hip hop heads in the building. But yeah, man, Biggie, he was feeling a little under the weather, but taking him one day at a time, man. He's on rest and recovery right now. So far, so good. But I mean, I will say, I get kind of jealous every once in a while. I see him we pamper him. He gets carried all around the house. We get to feed him with the hands. I'm like, man, I want to get carried around the house and feed me with feed me with your hand, please. But it's all good. Hey, Michael, man, in terms of the Chiefs getting pressure, they definitely need a lot more of it. We've seen spurts of it, but I think the biggest reason why they haven't been able to get the pressure is lack of opportunities, man. You think about how the Bucs have been able to generate some drives, and it's been, when they've been able to run the ball. Ronald Jones and obviously Leonard Fournette have been doing a great job of just keeping them on schedule. And it's hard to rush the passer in second and short, third and short. Those aren't the best situations. And now that the game is what it is right now from a scoring standpoint, the Chiefs, in terms of finding a lot of opportunities to rush, I just don't think that's going to happen right out the gate. I think that, if you're Tampa, you're obviously going to still be aggressive, but the Chiefs haven't been able to successfully stop the ground game. So if they can't stop the ball in terms of you running the ball, man, you keep running that thing and make them like it, because eventually they will if they don't decide to stop it. And at the same time, while you're doing that, you're killing the clock. And because you have the lead, you have that luxury. And it's a multi-point, a two-score, or it should be two-score at the time right now, lead. So you got a lot of just cards in your hat right now if you're the Bucs. Said Brady got the refs paid off. Hey, man. Kelsey has showed up, but you remember Kelsey? I think Kelsey had a drop early too. I mean, Tampa definitely has done a good job defensively with their schemes, but at the same time, we've seen a couple of opportunities that the Chiefs have had. You think about early on in the game, the drop pass by not Tyreek Hill, yeah, by Tyreek Hill, excuse me. It actually looked like it was going to get tipped and it hits him right in the face. If he catches that, that's a touchdown. Different ball game, different time in terms of the momentum and stuff like that. It's just the little things that they're missing on right now, man. But they're a championship team for a reason. And the fact they're back in this game, they are not worried about that, man. They, are more than confident they're going to be able to come out here and do those type of things. But for me, I'm enjoying it because, shoot, when we're not out there, when it's not the Steelers, if they don't do it, it don't matter. It don't matter. All right, let's see what these scores looking like, man. We got 24, 12, 17, 28. Okay. 28-16. Hey, Bart, is that 28-16 who? Michael Yulee, 28-12 who? Yeah, y'all gonna hit me with the 28-12 and not tell me who's up? Hey, and was that Brighton? Yeah, Brighton. Hey, Brady definitely looking real MVP-like right now, man. Oh, and I know what I meant to ask y'all, too. What is everybody wearing? Obviously, I don't get to see y'all back because of the whole, just the way the technology is set up and stuff like that. But that was a big topic of discussion, and I was still trying to, gather some data, crowd surfing and things like that. So in the chats, let me also know, are y'all decked out in Steelers gear? Are y'all having, just your favorite players gear? Are you neutral? You see me, I went just with the hometown, 757 crib, like just keep it simple because I had JMU I wanted to rock, but I'm like, I got, former JMU teammates and playing on one team. I don't want to look like I'm, rooting for one team over another. So I was always wondering that. So let me know in the chat, man. Let me know. What we rocking? What are we rocking? Yeah, it did hit him in the face, man. It was crazy. Okay, John, I see you. Steelers hat, normal sweats. I could dig it. Nice comfy fit, right? Gotta go comfy. Okay, Nick. Steelers gear. Was that Dylan? You're a neutral? Okay. All yellow Steelers tee. There it is. Yes, indeed. Yeah, because that's the thing. I like I said, I'm still getting new to this whole watching the Super Bowl thing, Super Bowl parties. Technically, this counts as me first officially hosting a big game party, right? Did I just host a big game party? Is that what this is right here? So yeah, I appreciate y'all allowing me to host my first one like this. This is kind of cool. Now I see what all the hype is about. Oh, Ashley, I like that. The Pittsburgh Bettis. Yes, indeed. Home or away one, though. That's what we need to know, too, right? Dark Slayer t-shirt. Okay. Man, come on now. PJs. Whoa. All right, now I'm assuming you're on the East Coast and being your PJ. Well, you might be your PJs early. Sometimes I chill in my PJs all day. It don't really matter. So I'm not against that. I can dig it. Okay. Red shirt for Jordan Whitehead. All right. And I probably should have asked y'all that too, right? Who do y'all want to win this game today? Are y'all going for Tampa or we going for Kansas City over here? Which way y'all rocking with? Y'all know who I told y'all I'm going. I'm going with the Chiefs unless the Bucks win. Got me? All right, so that's what I'm doing. I'm going for the Chiefs unless the Bucks win. But y'all let me know who y'all got. And shoot, we talking about Brady for MVP. Gronk making the case as well. Gronk then turned back the clock. Man, it's like the 2010 draft class all-star team out there, man. You got AB doing his thing. Jason Pierre-Paul balling out. This is crazy. It's crazy. Craig, would you say you can't wear gear without the Steelers in the Super Bowl? I can respect it. Uh-huh. Hey, it's the Buccaneers. You're absolutely right, man. They looking good though, man. Wow. Oh, uh-oh. Time to start asking them questions. Can they respond? It's going to be exciting, man. This is something that, like I said, we've seen the Chiefs come back from before. Now, and granted, he hasn't been going across from that man, Tom Brady. We know what that's like. But, man, they haven't been able to stop this run all day. All day. If you can't stop the run, that kills you. Because, I mean, when you think about the Chiefs, they can't even pack the box the way they need to because obviously they have to worry about the receiving weapons the Bucs have had. You look at what Gronk has been able to do. You look at what Gronk's been able to do. Obviously, AB had a touchdown. Mike Evans has stressed him out a little bit, drew a penalty. Godwin, they just have a ton of offensive talent, especially at the skill position. So if you're not going to be able to minimize that, you have to try to find a way to make them one-dimensional, shut down that run game. But obviously, Fournette and Ronald Jones have been having a ton of success on the ground today. So it's going to be interesting. Like I said, man, they got to stop that run, though. They got to fix that in a hurry. Oh, yes. We definitely got to talk this, too. T.J. Watt not winning Defensive Player of the Year. What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? What is really going on here? Now, we talked about it on the podcast, right? Talked about how, hey, man, yes. We know Aaron Donald's a bad man. We obviously know that, you can make a case for him being the best football player in general. Like, he is that dominant. But when you look at the year that T.J. Watt had, I mean, the productivity was there from start to finish. I mean, he was electric at times, man. So I understand the argument for Donald, and that's why it's like, I can hear what they're saying, but I don't want to hear what they're saying because I am biased. And I told y'all that. I don't care. He needs to win it. He should have won it. But y'all saw what he tweeted out afterwards, right? Jordan meme. I took that personally. And we all know what that means. So, I'm excited for him. Like I said, I'm just glad that I'm not having to block that guy next year. Not that I play offense, but either way, it's going to be exciting. Glad he's on our team because he's going to be on a tear. Trust me. I mean, you don't need, angry, extra motivated TJ. TJ by himself is already dope, and TJ's a good guy. This motivated TJ we about to see, though, different. Trust me, different. Yeah, man, I don't know what's going on with Kansas City, man. They this slow first half trickle over to the third quarter, starting to look less like it's slow and more like, the Bucs are executing a great game plan. But for a fact, defensively, they got to stop that run. That's what they definitely got to do. Hey, Brighton, man, that's a good question. In terms of if I think Devin Bush is going to come back, on fire next year, or is he going to start out a little bit slower since he missed time due to the injury? With Devin, because let's see, he tore his ACL earlier in the season. It's not like Bud, so he's going to have a lot, longer to have the full gamut of the rehab without being rushed. So I do think that he'll start out, have a pretty fast start to the season in terms of just getting out there and getting those legs back under him. Now, obviously, mentally he's going to have to deal with the whole just reassurance that the knee is stable in real game situations compared to the training that he's going to be doing in, his rehab process and doing OTAs and stuff like that. But as a whole, I just think that he is very gifted athletically, and the ACL injuries in 2020, 2021, the way that science has evolved now and they're able to go in there and repair those guys, I mean, it's nowhere near the same level in terms of if this is 10, 15 years ago ACL, you're questioning what they were going to look like the following year. I don't think that's going to be the case with Devin. I think he's going to come back and be fine. I mean, people forget Avery Williamson. He was another guy towards ACL a year ago, and we saw how he was able to come out here this year earlier on with the Jets, having a ton of success, and then obviously with us later in the year, giving us a lot of help defensively. So I think with Devin, it's going to be a similar situation. And, I mean, the kid is young. I mean, he still got those super fast twitch Wolverine-like healing genes right now, man. When you're as young as he is, yeah, he's good. Trust me, he's good. And that's the thing, man. Hey, small Ben 7. I can't even read it without laughing. Small Ben 7. Is that you, D? No, I'm playing. But in terms of the return man right there for KC, absolutely. And you can see with Kansas City, they've had, multiple times where they're on the brink of breaking a big play. They're on the cusp of scoring, and it's just off right now. And that's the weird part. But hopefully they get this thing clicking, because I don't want this game to get gory. Gory games in the Super Bowl, that's not fun. Whew. But that O-line, they got to get that fixed. But I mean, it's just, when you think about just football, right? It's funny, we talk about different games, but you say the same things over and over again, because it's really that simple, man. Defensively, you got to stop the run, make a team one-dimensional. Offensively, you got to protect the quarterback, and they're struggling to do it all day. The makeshift line that they've put together right now, and due to some of the injuries, this is kind of the scenario that you're in. And with the Bucs being able to get up as big as they've gotten thus far, now you're in a situation where you are absolutely forced to drop back and throw this ball 20, 30 times in this half right here. It's not going to be a good scenario. And right here, you see it. Yeah. It's like that right now, man. Tampa is definitely playing their game the way they want it, man. Get the big lead, rush this passer, make this quarterback have to throw the ball 30, 40 times in the second half. And right now, Tampa is definitely winning that battle, man, in a big way. This is crazy. I haven't seen the Chiefs look like this in a while. Like, jeez. Oh, shout out to the Rocky Bly 20 jersey. I can respect that. Hey, Mitchell, no, baby. Big Mosey over here. All I do is relax, talk nice, and watch ball. That's it. I don't want any physical contact at all. I don't even want to look. I don't want you to look at me aggressively. I'm delicate. I'm fragile. Actually, I'm exotic. I'm fragile, okay? I'm fragile. That's what I am. Hey, Chiefs definitely going to need a miracle, baby. Hey, bad itch. In terms of how would it feel if AB were to win MVP? I mean, it'll be kind of crazy. I don't think he will, just because Gronk is. I mean, we know it's going to come down between who, Gronk and Brady. Now, as much as I would love for a little bit of parity here, and we can get a Gronk MVP. I mean, I think that would be dope, because you think about the game that he's been having. We all know how that's going to go. They're not going to give the 7th Lombardi for Tom Brady and him not getting MVP for that one. That's not happening. So, yeah. But like I said, man, the game's not over. Plenty of time. It's plenty of time. Hopefully this for them. Feels good for us though, baby. I love this. This is way better from a therapy session. I will say that. But man, what's been everybody's biggest surprise thus far in this game? I mean, obviously we've seen the Chiefs, start out slow before, but what's everybody's like, what's caught them off guard the most? To me, I would have to just say the lack of explosive plays by Tyreek Hill. I thought that he would still be a mismatch, a walking nightmare, and if he wasn't going to have the impact in terms of statistics, right, in terms of a ton of catches and yards, I thought that it would open up the field so much more for the rest of these guys, for your Travis Kelce's, for, your Mikael Harmons and things like that. I thought those other guys would benefit from the attention that Tyreek is drawn, but we haven't seen any of it. We haven't seen him make any plays, and he really hasn't. I mean, and the guys around him either haven't really been able to step up and take advantage of some of the coverage that he's drawn. So to me, that's the big surprise right now, man. Ooh, no touchdowns for Kansas City. Yeah, you're absolutely right. I definitely wasn't expecting that. Wow. Gronk better than Kelsey. What it look like today? Ooh-wee. But man, all right, we will say this though. Gronk, they're doing a good job schematically helping Gronk out. Whereas we've seen with some of the highlights with Kelsey, they are giving him a ton of attention, man. But man, they just got a good flow right now. A really good flow offensively for the Bucs. And shout out to Byron Leftwich, man. Obviously, former Pittsburgh Steeler guy, not former Pitt. Make sure I clarify those things up. But obviously former Steeler, and then obviously was out in AZ with them for a little while as well, man. But I think he's calling a great game. You look at the way this offense has been able to move, good balance between run and pass. Definitely impressive. Oh, Bart, you're going with Leonard Fournette as the MVP. I like the dark horse candidate. You know what it kind of reminds me of? What was it James White, right? The Patriots Falcons Super Bowl, when we saw how James White was able to, create a ton of just impact plays for that offense, especially doing some of the things catching out the backfield. And we thought that he might get the MVP, but they ultimately weren't Brady. This is giving me that same type of feeling between him and Gronk a little bit, honestly. Mm-mm-mm. Hey, man, they're going to make you like Fournette. They're going to make you like him. Hey, Mitchell, you are right about the commercials, too. They have been top notch. Definitely have been. And Ashley, yeah, in terms of Jerome Bettis, could he be a running backs coach? I definitely think he could. I think it's more so the desire to do it. A lot of times, man, for players, you either when you retire, you either want to hop into coaching because you love just that element of just the game and the amount of time that you're invested in it, or it's the alternative. You're like, hey, I don't want nothing to do with that coaching stuff. Leave me alone. And right now, I just don't know what Jerome, man, in terms of which one he likes. I know he does a ton of stuff from a foundation standpoint, and obviously he's, doing his media thing as well. So I don't think that the desire might be there in terms of him coming back to be a running backs coach, but he definitely could because his knowledge of the game, obviously, him being a Hall of Fame running back himself, yeah, that translates, and the guys get motivated by that. So yes, he definitely is capable if he wanted to. Hey, Devin White has been balling. Has been balling. Trust me, a lot of people people can make a lot of money. Some of the dark horse people, man, because these were all the odds, right? When we're talking about the big games, I almost messed it up right there, right? But in terms of the big game MVP, we obviously knew that Mahomes and Brady were going to have the biggest odds. But after that, man, you started seeing in terms of great value picks that realistically could happen. Jason Pierre-Paul, Shaq Barrett, Devin White, those were like the big three for the Buccaneers. And then for the Chiefs, Chris Jones, Tyrann Mathieu, because they obviously you're figuring pass rushers are going to have big impacts, which we're seeing right now. And then obviously secondary players, right? If you're able to create some type of turnover, that can be the other thing. Man, this is wild, though. Hey, Craig, you're right, man. Tampa did a great job in terms of building that roster with, I mean, stars, high end talent that had different asterisks around it, right? But they got them for the cheap, and it paid off. I mean, sometimes it works out like that, and we're seeing right here with those guys actually being healthy at the same time as well. How's been able to play? I mean, how these guys been able to be really productive? Obviously, you get AB for peanuts. You're able to get Gronk out of retirement, facilitate the trade for him. I mean, they definitely did a good job. Leonard Fournette. I mean, you think about what he was a couple. I mean, last year was one of his better years in Jacksonville, and then from there, to see him come here and have the type of season he's having, the Bucks definitely, man, they bet it all on that model, and it worked. And when you're building your roster, you can go either way. You can go and you have your young quarterback on a rookie salary, and then you pay a lot of high end talent. You can do that, or you go the route that the Bucks took. You obviously have Brady, who's getting a good amount of money, so you go out there and take flyers on at risk players, guys that are very talented, but they could it could backfire on you. You never know. Oh man, I thought I was watching the Steeler game for a second. Whew, gave me my PTSD. Don't do that. Oh man. I'm about to say, man, don't do that. Please don't do that. Chad, what up? What up, Chad? Hey, McDave, in terms of the Chiefs defense needing to be rebuilt, the thing is they are built to play ahead. They're situationally good. They're built to what? Rush the passer. They got guys on the back end that can do enough, in terms of creating timely turnovers and things like that. But that's what they're built for. They're not built to create crazy turnovers when you're down multiple scores and have to really play physical ball in terms of stopping the run. That's not what they're built for. But the funny thing is the Bucks, they early on weren't built for that either. Obviously, throughout the playoffs, they've been playing a lot better. But early on, they struggled with some of those same things. They were good situationally, but they weren't this type of defense that you think of in terms of how the Steelers were early on in the year, how the Bills looked, how the Ravens looked at times, where it didn't matter what point of the game was. You knew that they could go out there and get a stop right now. The Chiefs, man, they don't have that type of defense. So as we see right now, man, when they're not within a score or they're not ahead, how much they struggle right here. Oh man, I love this. I love these commercials. Does everybody get the same commercials? I need to know that too, because right now I'm seeing this awesome like Shaggy commercial, and I'm loving it because it's giving me some nostalgia feelings right here. I just need to know, are y'all seeing the same commercial I'm seeing? Because I like it. Oh my goodness. Let's see. Talking about the refs. Yeah, they definitely have. In terms of let's see this. So I'm trying to say how to say your name. What's this? Shaman 05 line. So he says the refs are nitpicking too much, forcing the Chiefs to play less aggressive. In Tampa are in response being able to play a lot more aggressive, penalizing Matthew for talking to Brady. Yeah, I did think the penalty on Tyrann Mathieu, right before half, I thought that was a little ticky tack. Thought it was good gamemanship. Obviously, they're both chirping at each other. We saw before the game, right? They highlighted it, talked about it in light, in a lighthearted manner in terms of just the two guys going at it. But this is the biggest game, of the year. So of course they're gonna be amped up. I didn't like that call at all though. But in terms of the rest of the game, right now, it's kind of hard to really make that case just because we're also seeing them get gashed on the ground from a running standpoint. I thought early on in that first half, without a doubt, the refs definitely were tic-tacking, and just nitpicking some of the things. But some of this other stuff, you line up off sides. You can't do that. And especially if you're the end guy, we're talking about the field goal block for the Chiefs where it was actually Hartman that lined up off sides, but they called it on the other guy. You can't do that. You're the end man on the line of scrimmage. You can literally look to the right or look to the left. The referee will point to you and let you know if you're offsides and need to back up. So for you to do that, there's no excuse. So that's my thing in terms of, the Chiefs and the referee situation, but they still have their opportunities. They still had ample time, and they still do have plenty of time, honestly, to make a comeback, but they're going to have to operate a lot faster. I'm starting to have my doubts though, man. Because for a fact, we know the Bucs are going to be able to come out here and get pressure consistently. And that's been causing a ton of problems for the Chiefs right now. My man. All right, I'm glad that y'all all seeing the same commercial, man. That commercial had me gone. Ashton Kutcher, Shaggy, hey man, I love that. I had my That 70s Show vibe. I have my It Wasn't Me vibe because I love that song. I remember as a kid hearing that thing, like it just sticks in your head, right? It wasn't me. It wasn't me. So yeah, I dig that commercial. I'm glad that y'all were seeing it with me. Yeah, I got the coming to America commercials. Well, all right, just had to make sure we're all getting the same commercials. I feel like sometimes when it's a regular season game, man, I'll be talking to somebody in one state and they're getting this commercial. I'm over here and I'm getting a totally another commercial. So it's always when to just hear how they do it on the big game. It looks like a lot of people like the Shaggy commercial, man. Shout out. Hey, Bad Itch. Shout out, shout out. Yes, indeed, to the Fireball. For me, man, I like to keep it simple. I stay with a do, but a little bit of that adult juice in there. I keep on the light color today. So that's why, we go with the light soda. If it's the dark color, then we on the darkers, the cognacs, things like that, your whiskeys and stuff. So that's how I vibe out. But I never know the rules in terms of what I can disclose from a adult beverage standpoint when I'm doing these things on YouTube or not. So that's why I just keep it simple, put it in a bottle like that, and that way we're all good. What up, Ben? What up? Is that Ben Sports? Ben Sports? Hey, listen, hey, Joshua, I know you talk about, the honey badger, Tyrann Matthews giving, Brady the 2-piece with the biscuit and fries. But all I'm saying is this. Brady on that TB12 super vegan kale fruit juice ice cream smoothie is different. He probably is like a triple, I don't know, he's probably a black belt in Brazilian jiu-jitsu, taekwondo. I mean, this is Brady we talk about, man. He a man of many talents. I wouldn't just be running up on that, man. He does have the reach and height advantage, too. Remember that. Yeah, when you're missing your 2 starting tackles, though, like the Chiefs are, yes, without a doubt, that gets you, man. Mm-mm-mm. Man, I'm just shocked right now. I haven't seen the Chiefs like this since Alex Smith was the quarterback. Let's be real about it. Jeez. Ja, man, welcome to the party. Yes, indeed, man. My thoughts on the refs, though. Thought in the first half, definitely too much, the ticky-tack calls. I thought that, especially that drive where they scored, where they had the multiple penalties on the secondary. I think the Honey Badger obviously had that one in the end zone. To me, man, I thought they were 2 hands on. But the second half, I don't think it's been as bad from a referee standpoint. I think more so the Buccaneers just been the more physical team, been able to run the ball and ultimately are beating the Chiefs up front offensively as well. To me, that's the big takeaway right now. But man, this is crazy. Oh, all right, Zachary. Halftime show. What do I rate it? I would give it a 8. I say it's an 8. I like the intro of it. I thought the whole angelic scene was cool. Kind of got demonic a little bit with the whole red eyes. Got a little weird. But for the most part, I digged it. I didn't like the running in the maze, glass like maze window, mirror box singing thing. It's kind of wacky. But other than that, though, I digged it, man. I thought it was a good performance, man. And I'm a big fan of just live music, acoustic sets in terms of drums. You're hearing the guitars, the keyboards, and things like that. So that element of it, I definitely enjoyed. Man, The Weeknd's he's a great performer for a reason. I mean, and that's why he's out here. So of course, he was going to do his thing. And I am a fan of The Weeknd. He does put out some good music, man. But as a whole, I thought the show was good, man. But what do you rate it as? How would you rate the halftime show on a 1 to 10? I gave it an 8. So yeah. All right, looks like the Chiefs are trying to do something here, heating up a little bit. Man, are we gonna get an L Bell appearance today? Jeez, this is crazy. This is crazy. Hey, money bags, Steelers draft party. Definitely gonna be thinking about that. I do feel like we will make that happen, but yeah, that's definitely on the radar, definitely in the plans, man. Because let's be real, we got big action in the draft. We got first round pick, second round pick, third. I mean, we got all the picks we need. You get a pick. You get a pick. You get a pick. So I'm excited about it. Yes, indeed. Uh-oh. Now I got to go through and check these scores real quick too, man. See if anyone had this 31-9 prediction right here in the third quarter here and stuff. This is nuts. Man, I think all of us are in the same boat. We were definitely respecting and anticipating the Chiefs to do a lot more offensively in that quarter. God. Mm-mm-mm. Yep. This is not. This is not it. This is not it. Oh yeah, hey, trust me, we're gonna talk to Ben too, man. I mean, we're not Ben. We're gonna Ben. Excuse me, Ben. We're gonna talk to Deke. I think that was Ben that hit me. Oh, small Ben 7 was texting about the draft. I'm reading all them things backwards. But yes, man, we're gonna hear from Deke tomorrow. Trust me on this because he's gonna be losing his mind with this whole. Ben got only 1 vote for the comeback player of the year. We know how he feels about that, and then I don't think he got a vote for MVP either. Yeah. Deke gonna be on one tomorrow, baby. Yes, indeed. Whew. It'd be even worse for him though if Brady go ahead and win today, which is looking like, oh Lord, gonna be a fun one. Hey, 195, you're absolutely right, man. Andy Reid is doing us a solid. He's keeping the mileage low on my man L. Bell. Soon as the game's over, L. Bell already frustrated because they lose the Super Bowl. He'll be highly motivated. He's going to get on the call. Coach T, what's up, baby? You know it's me, the Juice Man. Oh, yeah, what up, L. Bell? Pull up. Okay, cool. Sign the deal. Boom. Got a running back next year. That's how it's going to be. So you're absolutely right, Hunter. Hey, Mitcho, man. Jake Paul, hey. Honey Badger versus Jake Paul? Whew. I don't like it for Honey Badger. I don't. He's feisty. He's feisty like a Honey Badger. But he don't have a lot of size. I have to see that size matchup, man. I'm not digging that too much, man. And I don't know his boxing background. We saw this now. We seen Jake Paul. Jake Paul, he nice with it a little bit. So do I think the Steelers? All right. So DCLZ is asking, do I think the running backs the Steelers currently have are going to do good next season, especially since they thought that James Conner was the best out of the group? Put it like this: I think Benny Snell will be on the roster. I think he's going to have a role and will play well. I think the wild card to me is Anthony McFarland. Not in terms of roster availability, but more so impact. We saw they really liked him last year, right? They used him a ton. We talked about how he started some games, just got ample opportunities out there. But the productivity wasn't necessarily there all the time either. I don't know how they're going to feel about that in terms of, do they believe that he should have a bigger role or be more of a focal point in that offense? Or if they feel that, he's more so a one-trick pony at this stage in his career and they want to go out there and outsource. I personally think they're going to outsource and either get a running back through free agency, kind of like we talked about with the whole L. Bell scenario, or I think that, they'll draft a guy. I don't think they'll draft a guy in the first round, but I think they will take a running back earlier, talking second, third, that time frame in terms of the draft, if they don't address the running back position through free agency. But I don't think that they're going to roll with Benny Snell or McFarland as their feature guy next year. I think they'll use them, like I said, situationally or as a part of a committee, but they're not going to go into next year with those guys only as their main, feature running backs. Man, this is crazy. It's a good drive right here by the Chiefs, right? But they got to score faster. You can't kill too much of this clock, man. You got multiple scores they're going to have to come back from. But they're just off. Just off. Little bit here, a little bit there. Just off, man. Hey, man, I wish DCLZ, I wish we could get B. Leftwich to come back, Like I said, he's doing a great job. Obviously, he had some success in AZ before he came out here, but man, he looks really good right now in Tampa, man. Really good. And obviously, they talked about a little bit with Bruce Arians, how he said that he wouldn't have probably took the job if it wasn't for Leftwich saying that he would come with them and being available. Man, this is nuts, man. Man, crazy game. Crazy. Oh, yeah, man. Shout out to Alan Faneca and Bill Nunn, right? Man, immortalized. Hall of Fame. Finally. Long overdue. What was everybody's thoughts on that, man? I was so happy to see those two guys get in. Obviously, God bless Bill Nunn. But, man, for him to be able to get in, we talked about him in Pittsburgh and just how important he was to this organization, the critical players that he was able to find. And then not only that, but then just to change the face of scouting and finding talent, going to some of these smaller schools, the HBCUs and things like that from an NFL standpoint, man, big time, just impact on football and just that whole situation. And then we already talked about Alan Faneca, man. You could make the case that he was the, most dominant offensive lineman during his time. He was in that conversation. And people debated, man. We thought he should have been a first ballot guy, but for him to have waited as long as he did, man, but to finally see him get it, man, it's so awesome, man, because he deserves it. He's such a great guy too, man. Great guy. Mm-mm-mm. A was that vague underscore wolf? Do I think the killer bees could happen again? I do. I honestly do. The scenario is setting up perfect in terms of L Bell's going to be super cheap, well rested. Obviously, he doesn't have a ton of miles from this season, so that's there for him. And then, along with the fact that AB has played well enough that he's going to command some money, but not a crazy amount of money. Now, obviously, the Bucks have already said that they would want him back, but knowing that him and Coach T still remain in contact and keep that door open, hey man, I could definitely see him coming back on a transitional deal, not in terms of a tag or nothing like that, but in terms of just a bridge type contract, right? Because you're not going to pay him a crazy deal like beforehand, but you pay him, a nice little 1 or 2 year deal that if he comes out and, starts to ball out like he used to, then obviously you'll reward him with a little bit longer of an extension. But, we'll see. It's definitely a chance, though. It's definitely a chance. But yeah, this I ain't gonna lie to y'all, man. This game is yeah, it's about over. That was a great stop right there, man. But you could just see the pressure has gotten to Mahomes, and not in terms of pressure of the moment, but just the rush. The Bucks have been able to get after him. I mean, they've taken over that offensive line, and yeah, it's it looked like jailbreak screen every time he's dropping back. He's having to sprint backwards 10, 20 yards, dodging guys and just, throwing something up. But the crazy thing was, it still should have been caught. Not a touchdown. Probably would have been stopped on the one, but still should have been caught. That's the type of stuff, though, right? It's like you for Mahomes, you're having to do the spectacular to get a chance, but because of how these guys aren't, on the details like they should be right now, even with that, it's just not enough. It's crazy. All right. Man, talk about it. 195. We're gonna have 4 Steelers in the hall in August. I don't know about y'all, man, but I need that to be one of those events where it's like, all right, everybody, normal civilization now. We got vaccines, everybody's good to go. I would love that. I would love that. Because I mean, when you think about it, like you said, man, you got Troy in there. Obviously, you got Donnie Shell. Now you got Bill Cowher. Excuse me, I said 4. It's 5 of these guys. I'm tripping. Then obviously you got Alan Faneca and Bill Nunn. I mean, it's gonna be a black and gold party. You know how we take over on the road. Anyways, need that. Need that. But if not, we'll have to have like a virtual, I don't know, Hall of Fame induction watch party because yeah, we gotta see that. Gotta see that. That's big time. I got my first teammate in the Hall of Fame. First time ever having a teammate in the Hall of Fame, man. TP. I need to see that in person. Have my eyes on it. Oh, Ryan, that's a good question. Do I think Marshawn Lynch, aka Beast Mode, will make the Hall? I am not sure. I'm not sure. I mean, obviously he has impact. He has the memorable plays, has hardware in terms of Super Bowl, Pro Bowls, All Pros, things like that. I just don't know, though. I don't know. Yeah. I'd have to see who he's comparable to from a number standpoint, too. Because off the top of my head, I'm not sure. Yeah, but I'd have to look into that. Because I'm trying to think, man. I don't think his number. Yeah, his numbers definitely. They're not better than Gore's. They're not better than Shady McCoy. So I'd have to look to see, where he ranks and stuff like that, man. But I think he's definitely in the conversation. Hey, Jonathan, you're right, man. The football team did play the Bucks a lot better, but the football team, they're a lot better in their front seven defensively, and you're not able to just run the ball on them like that either. And that's the big difference between those two games, and why obviously this game has gotten to where it is. Tampa was able to hit a couple of plays in the first half, and obviously Kansas City wasn't. But it's all been set up for the Bucks at least off of their ground game. They've taken their shots downfield, but they've been able to just run the ball and control the clock. They've been the more physical team up front. And that to me has been the biggest difference. Now, obviously, when you look at the stats, the running totals are similar, but the way these runs are happening, night and day. You look at the Bucks, it's a power. I'm punching you in the mouth. you're gonna like me running you, just running over you. Whereas for Kansas City, it's more so Mahomes might have scrambled here, a little quick, toss here type situation. It's not really the same in terms of the effectiveness of these runs at all, even though statistically they do have over 100 on the ground. But yeah, man, you look at the Bucs, man. They just look like the more physical team. This is one of those demoralizing games right here, man. Or excuse me, not even games. This is one of those drives right here, though, man. I just think that the Bucs, they go down here and run this ball the way that they want to and score at the end of this. Yeah, demoralized. You'll start seeing the Chiefs quit, man. It'll happen like that. Well, hope I don't even want to say quit because I hope that they win and quit. They're gonna still fight, but it would be very, very difficult for them to come back. Ooh, and do I think Debo gets into the Hall? He's another guy. I look at him kind of in that same vein as Marshawn in terms of now. Obviously, he has more of the individual accolades with him having a Defensive Player of the Year trophy and having one of the greatest plays, if not arguably the greatest play in Super Bowl history. So he has a lot of things going for him. So I do think the conversation is going to be had and he will be in the mix. But I just don't know, if he's going to have enough to get in there. Now, he might down the line, but definitely not going to be first ballot or things like that. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see, how he stacks up because even though from a statistical standpoint, he is the all-time sack leader here in Pittsburgh, if I remember correctly, he still was under 100 career sacks. Whereas obviously, you think about some of these other, high-end, all-time great edge rushers, these guys are 100-plus sack guys and things like that. So that's my only thing in terms of, do I think he gets in or not? Usually that 100-sack number is the number. Because a guy like Jared Allen, for example, right? We remember how dominant he was in Minnesota. He's not in right now. And I do think that Debo's had the better career, but they're still kind of comparable to me in terms of their overall impact and just being able to get after the quarterback. So those I'm just trying to think off the top of my head. Now, obviously, I can go up here and get, do a little bit more research on it and give you a better answer. And we will do that later on. But just off the top of my head, those are some of the guys that I kind of compare them to and just thinking off the top, like, man, if those guys aren't in, I don't know, how fast these other guys in terms of Debo and Marshawn getting into the Hall of Fame would be. Man, Michael, in terms of do I think Justin Jefferson should have won Offensive Rookie of the Year? I mean, I wanted him to. Could have made a debate for it, which we did on the podcast, but I didn't have an issue with them going with Herbert, and it's a quarterback league. We know this. The same way we know that even though we talked about Gronk balling out tonight, we talked about Leonard Fournette balling out tonight, we all know the MVP is going to be TB12. It just is what it is. Hey, Sean, come on, man. It is crazy, though, man. It is crazy that AB will be, more than likely hosting this trophy unless something changes here. Like, this is crazy. I just hope, like I said, man, that, he's just in a better place than where he was a year ago this time. So that, this situation, this success doesn't, make him relapse and go back to some of the things that he was doing beforehand. But, yeah, it's kind of crazy, man. You think about the 12 months for him, and now he's out here about to, win a Super Bowl, or excuse me, a big game trophy. It's kind of crazy, man. Yeah, no one That's my thing. As much as I would love to say that Debo gets in the Hall, I just don't know. I mean, I think of him kind of a more high-end version of Hines Ward. Now, obviously, Hines Ward was very decorated in his own right. And I just think, like I said, Debo had a little bit more personal success as he had the Defensive Player of the Year award and things like that. But they're kind of in that same, tier of, man, you want them to get in. You can make the argument for them, but I just don't think it's going to be substantial enough. And especially when I think about the fact that we got 5 guys going into the Hall this, in these back-to-back years total. We talked about how the whole bias, man, of, man, there's so many Steelers in the Hall that sometimes they say, all right, well, you know what, we're going to take a little bit of a break here. We're not going to just keep allowing all you guys to get in here, even though we feel like it should be way more. It just is what it is right now. Mm-mm-mm. This is crazy, though. Said Chargers are cursed. Hey Joshua, they always do though. They always lean towards the quarterbacks because their whole thought process is this: us as football players, we respect the quarterback position. We understand how difficult it is. So you got that element, right? But they also say which position is, the easiest to see, the easiest to kind of grade, but you can promote this to the casual viewer, the person that might just turn the TV on and they don't know anything about anyone. Who are the people that you should be talking about the most? Who are the people you should be hyping up that could draw that person in and make them say, you know what, I'm going to watch this game instead of turning it off. And that's, to me, another reason why they, pump up these quarterbacks so much and constantly keep the cameras on them and talk about them, because they do sell. I mean, when they play well, you can pump that. When they play bad, you can get on them for that. But they're always going to have the ball in their hands. So it's just, like I said, one of those things that they do whatever it takes to make sure those guys are constantly in the limelight, getting the accolades they're supposed to get. So, yeah, and that's the biggest reason why, once again, I said, man, with the Offensive Rookie of the Year award and even tonight for MVP, just think it's always going to go quarterback right now, man. Always. Okay. DC to turn the Aquaman. I feel you. Listen, if we weren't doing the stream, I probably would have turned it off too. It's getting bad. But at the same time, I am kind of sick. I do, like, in terms of, like, I want to see, one of these teams. Once we've already defined who the winner is going to be, let me get a little gory. Go ahead, drop a 50 on them. If you're going to blow them out anyways, I'm sick like that. I want to see that. When it was early on, I wanted it to be a good game. Now that we know it's not going to be a good game, make it historic. I don't even know if a team has dropped 50 in the Super Bowl before, or 50 in a big game before, but either way, come out here and drop a 50 burger or something like that. That's what I want to see. Give me some of that. And I do like how aggressive the Bucs were on that 3rd and 1 right there. They took the shot downfield. I said, whoa, they going for the jugular. I like it. Hey, Charles, it has been a defensive clinic by the Bucs, and definitely the penalties, on the Chiefs. First half, very one-sided. It's helped them out, but at this stage, yeah, the Bucs, man, they're just a more physical team. Way more physical. I mean, you're seeing it, like I said, even on that drive right there, where obviously, they ended up having to punt and things like that. But as a whole, they just have looked like the more physical team for 4 quarters. And, going into the game, that was the part that no one really talked about. We said, obviously, that they could run the ball well enough with Ronald Jones and Leonard Fournette. But we really talked about and really highlighted the wide receivers. We felt like the skill positions in terms of receivers and tight end were the biggest difference. But, man, the physical element that the Bucs have been able to show today, wow. Yeah, I don't want to watch it though. I don't want to watch him raise one either. Oh man, not another one. Not the 7th one. Lord, we never gonna hit the end of this thing. You know that, right? Will Gronk make it to the Hall, Ryan? Absolutely. Now, hey, first ballot. Yeah, no debate. No debate. Uh-oh. Man, now see, this could have been a little interesting if they were able to score on that last drive. You be sitting here, 16, 17, score again. All right, now you're at 24. It'd been a different ball game. But them not being able to score last drive, yeah, they're stuck right now, man. And then the pass rush, getting after them still. Ooh, and most hosts. Do I think this game is going to affect the Chiefs and Mahomes' confidence going into next season? I honestly don't. I think it's going to motivate them, and I think it's going to humble them. This is a team that, we talked about it. We said they play arrogant in terms of they don't fear trailing in games. They're very aggressive in terms of their play calling. They go for it a ton on 4th downs. Like, that's just, who they are. And to me, it's just wow. We got going. Everybody good? Oh, okay. But yeah, in terms of, like I said, them just being arrogant like that, I just think that this is going to humble them. It's going to make them realize that, hey, we can't just come out here and start slow every game. We can't say that, hey, our guys are better than your guys, so we'll spot you a lead and we're going to come back and chase it down. But they've done it so many times in these past 2 years, both during the regular season and in the postseason, that, yeah, they've become arrogant with that. They've become overconfident in some standpoints. And when you face a team like the Bucs, who are playing really well, they haven't lost since they got beat by the Chiefs during the regular season. So when you think about that, yeah, they need this type of action. They need that smack in the face to just let them know, like, hey, you're not, this immortal team that can just walk into every stadium and win. You have to play hard. You have to start fast. You have to take opponents seriously from start to finish. I think that this is going to be one of those games that wakes them up like that in the offseason going forward. Hey, now, I'm trying to make sure I don't butcher your name. Atanica 7. Now, I don't think AB is out of the question. I don't. I think that obviously he's going to command some money, but you have to factor in his age, his off the field stuff. I mean, as much as, we're excited that he's doing well in this short span, the track record is still out there. So I don't think that teams are going to necessarily break the bank for him. And he'll be he should be 32 or 32 going on 33 going into next season as well. So that's going to dictate and put a damper on his market also. So I do think that he will be available. But between him and El Bell, like I said, man, I'm campaigning. I'm over here like, yeah, I'll take them both. But in terms if I had to choose which one I think is more likely to come back, I'll probably say El Bell is more likely because the way in which he exited and the people that were more vocal about him. Obviously, Ramon, was one of the guys who were a little bit more vocal in the scenario. He's obviously not here anymore. He retired. I just think it's an easier transition bringing him back in that locker room versus AB, because now you have to think about what AB said on his way out and to the certain people, Ben, Mr. Rooney, the different guys that he kind of burnt on the way out the door. I think that's going to take a lot more work in terms of just trying to get that to run smoothly, especially in a year like next year could be, where they're going to have a little bit more adversity. We talked about the questions surrounding Ben and, not only if he comes back, but what does that look like as well? That scenario, man, in terms of you having a lot of question marks, a lot of potential negativity surrounding the team from a wins and losses standpoint. I just don't know if bringing AB back into that scenario and adding to that is the best case, but we'll see. We will see. I wouldn't say that AB hates number 7 per se. It's a unique relationship. They are two alphas, two type A, competitive, driven, want to be the best type of guys. And, sometimes you bump heads. It's a part of it. But when they were able to, put those things to the side and you see them on the field together, you saw the numbers that they were able to put up and the work that they were able to do is there. Without a doubt is there. Ooh, and Chad, in terms of where I think JJ Watt is gonna land, I want to see if their mindset, and I'm talking about the Texans, if their mindset's the same for JJ as it is for Deshaun. Now, we've seen Deshaun publicly and officially request a trade, but they've been very adamant about not even fielding offers for him, which I do think is absurd. But they said that they're not even considering it right now. Now, obviously, J.J. Watt, he's supposed to make $17.5 million next year, but none of the money is guaranteed. So they could essentially cut him and be free, wash their hands with him. If they do that, I think it's a strong possibility he could come to Pittsburgh. I think that the opportunity to play with your brothers, I mean that's rare. Oh, we got a fan on the field. Let's go. Now it is a party. And I'm a little bit surprised too. Usually the TV, they won't even show those guys. But I got a chance to see this no shirt individual take off. More power to you, brother. You only live once. Mm-hmm. But yeah, man, I just think that for JJ to have that opportunity to play with your brothers, and for JJ, this is later on in his career, right? Who knows how many years he has left, how many years he wants to play. I could definitely see him saying, you know what, I'll take, a super, super discount to come play with my brother for 1 year, play with both my brothers for a year. Yeah, like without a doubt, I can see that. So I think that that's definitely in play, but it's more so going to be dictated by the Texans because they do have to release him because he is still in the contract there. Yeah, but Shaman 05 line, in terms of the odds of getting either Deshaun or JJ, I think it's a lot higher for JJ, especially if the Texans release him, because he can just simply say that, hey, I'll come here for whatever the cost may be because I want to play with my brothers, and he make that happen. In terms of Deshaun, the Texans, they still keep saying that they're not interested in trading him. Now, obviously, he keeps saying that he doesn't want to play for them anymore, but until they make a move there, I don't know, man, because I don't think we're going to have the luxury. Like, we're not going to wait that long for them to change their mind if you're Pittsburgh. And I also don't know in terms of Mr. Rooney's mindset or Mr. Rooney and Kevin Colbert's mindset in terms of would they rather spend these draft picks to get a Deshaun Watson, or would they rather draft their own guy? Because some people, they do feel like that. They rather draft their own guy, build him up, mold him, and things like that. Whereas others, they're like, hey, man, this is a proven commodity. Let me take him. I think we could win. We've seen both scenarios work. Obviously, the Bucs are doing that right now, right? It's working perfect for them. We're going to see the Rams next year try to do that with Matthew Stafford. So you can see the different ways in which teams have tried to do this. So, yeah, man. Hey, Moneybacks, the away schedule next year is crazy. It's tough without a doubt, man. I mean, you're on the road at Kansas City. You got to go to Green Bay, going to Buffalo. Obviously, you got your regular division foes as well. And then, man, I'm drawing a blank on the other two. But, yeah, it's definitely a good list, man. I'm excited, though, because, like I said, hopefully we can get back to doing what we did, the previous years in terms of doing the tailgates at the away games and stuff like that. That's what I'm hoping. Because, man, you talk about those stadiums for a road game, man, those are iconic landmark like stadiums, big game vibes, everything that you would want, man. So that's definitely something that I'm hoping we can get back to doing because man, it's nothing like when we get it on the road, baby. Nothing like it. Okay, was that Trina still Diva 5? Keep the money, go get Trask and go on. I can see that. For me personally, though, I understand Trask. I hear people. I said, Mac Jones is rubbing on me, man. I keep watching Mac Jones. I watched him, obviously, what he was able to do in the national championship. And then obviously what he was able to do throughout the season. But, man, watching him at the Senior Bowl for that week looked good. He looked good. So, that if I had to go between those two, that's the one I would personally rather get. And no one knows you. Yeah. As much as, we heard the comments from Juju, obviously said he wanted to stay, it is starting to look more and more like he will be exiting. And it's not, I don't think, bad on his part. It's just the market for him, man. He's going to command money. He's going to command a good amount of money. Now, is he going to live up to it? Who knows? But for the Steelers, for them to pay him his market value, they're going to have to make a lot, even more tougher decisions. They're already having to do that now, as they're dealing with Ben and his contract, the cap hit and things like that. But to compensate Juju the way that he would need to be compensated from a market value standpoint, yeah, it's going to be another headache. So that's why, to me, unless he's going to take some super brother-in-law discount, I'm not seeing it. Mm-mm-mm. Oh no! Please don't tell me he's got a penalty for taunting. Wow. Oh yeah, and shout out on this play right here too, man. Y'all see that dude 96 with the dreads? That's Big Steve McClendon right there, baby. For Pittsburgh Steelers, my dog was here, man. He was actually one of my locker mates, man, during training camp. Always loved kicking it with Big Steve, man, the OG of the group. Just smooth cat, man. But yeah, it's good to see him out here, having some fun out there in the big game. Do I play QB? Victor, no. Actually, I do play QB. But I only play QB in the 7-on-7s for the Steelers passing leagues that we do when we do our summer camps. Obviously, we couldn't do them this year because of the pandemic and stuff like that. But my record at quarterback, I'm nice. Nice. Literally, I've lost twice. In my 2 losses, I've come to Charlie Batch. But I did beat Charlie, and I told y'all heard the story when he came on the podcast. If y'all haven't heard the interview, definitely check it out. But on the podcast, we talked about it, how the first 2 times he beat me. He come out here with this running gun offense, and he's airing it out. NFL quarterback. This is what he does. He killed me. So, me being the defensive guy that I am, the next go around, I said, okay, we're going to strategize. So, I played him in cover 2, and we had this slow tempo offense. Think 4 quarters on offense if it was an NBA game, right? We're going to take the air out that ball and just kill this clock. We're going to slow it down. He hated it. We won. He didn't even talk to me. He didn't shake my hand. He didn't talk to me for a couple of months after that. He was pissed, but it was cool because we're going to find a way to win. But yes, I do. I am, I can get it if I need to. A 197. That is crazy when you talk about Brady winning, his 7th Lombardi, but never got paid top QB money. That is crazy, but that was a part of the reason why he was able to have the success that he did, especially early on in New England. He was playing a couple $1 million under market value, which is unheard of for the quarterback position. But that allowed them to go out and acquire the pieces that they needed offensively and defensively. And it also helped them out from a cap standpoint. But now, we heard Belichick talk about this last year. They were in the cap situation that we're potentially, going to be in whenever the Ben situation ends, in terms of regardless of if he's playing or not, you have a base, cap hit of $21 million from him right now, unless they got to, try to do some more things with them from a contract standpoint potentially. But that's their scenario. And obviously the Patriots were in a similar scenario once Brady left, and they weren't able to get the piece that they needed. That's the thing, man. When you're able, though, to keep that cap hit low, right? And you have a quarterback who's willing to take a little bit less, you're able to go out there and get those key pieces. So we'll see which route the Steelers take going forward, because they're going to have some similar scenarios, this year and potentially in the next 2 to 3 years, depending on just what happens with Seven's contract this offseason, man. So it's going to be interesting. It's always interesting, right? I feel like when it comes to the Steelers, it's always interesting. It's never a dull month. It's never, this is the downtime. No. We've seen multiple hires. We've seen, big in terms of marquee name from a free agent acquisition standpoint in the Dwayne Haskins move. You see a lot of this stuff right now. So, like I said, always interesting when it comes to the Steelers. Always. Hey, and Moneybag, you're absolutely right. Art Rooney definitely said that they're going to be adding the QB, and they said that they're going to look in every avenue. So we could talk, in terms of them drafting a guy early on, they could move up in the draft, right? They still have multiple picks. That's not off the table. You could do that. They could go the free agency route, try to find a guy, that could potentially come in and compete for a spot. Not saying they compete for the starting spot, but depending on their approach, that could be the move. Or they could, like I said, just simply say, well, nah, we already said they're going to draft a guy. Yeah, free agency is the other way. So yeah, that's about it right now. So it's going to be interesting, though, to just see which way they go with this thing, man. So, yeah. Hey, Brady's wife is worth more than him, and that's the biggest reason why he was able to do what he did from a contract standpoint in terms of taking less. When your wife, makes what she was making or currently makes, yeah, I don't have to be the breadwinner. When my wife is the breadwinner, we cool. So that's definitely that's the part that they don't tell you about. Hey, Michael, you wild for that. Andy Reid gonna get a cheeseburger tonight. one of those sorrow ones. It's, oh, but it's still like, and this is the part. This is the part when you talk about single elimination playoffs and things like that compared to series. If this is a series, you can have one or two bad games and you still got a chance. But when you in that series, you know, okay, the better team won. There isn't a doubt. There isn't any what ifs. It's just like, hey, man, these things, it was played out the way it was. But when you have these single elimination tournaments, which, you know, this is obviously, you have one bad game and now you're out, and it changes your whole perspective of this year. I mean, to think about the Chiefs winning the Super Bowl last year and then going right back this year to the Super Bowl was unheard of. But that's going to get lost because of the whole vibe of, man, y'all just lost this game right here and it's done. You know, it sucks, but it is what it is. But I don't think that the Chiefs, you know, that season that they did have and what they've been able to do in back-to-back, honestly, in these past 3 years should be overlooked or, you know, frowned upon. I think there's still something that's been crazy to see. But even on the other side, when you think about what Brady was able to do first year there, no offseason, it's just crazy. Mm-mm-mm. Hey, man, if Sue hit Brady the way he just hit Mahomes, man, they would have had the police down there. You would have thought he was the streaker on the field. That's how that would have looked, man. Jeez. Mm-mm-mm. Man, not only did I not think the Chiefs would, you know, be held under double digits. I mean, what is going on here? But man, if you would have told me over under for total points for this game was set at 56. If you would have told me we would have seen 56 total points scored, oh, I would have said not a chance. You're crazy. Take the over. Wow. Didn't know the Chiefs were going to lead their offense and leave the productivity in Kansas City. Like, come on, man. Jeez Louise. What's it say? Billiken Baller 3? Hey, you're right, though. The Bucks defense definitely should get the MVP award, man. They from start to finish were great, but we all know where this is going. You you know how it's going to sound. He got 7 rings, the most in NFL history. No franchise has ever. And look what he did. Yep. That's what we're finna get. Mm-mm. What is Bill Belichick doing right now? Bill is probably somewhere losing his mind. He's probably sick. God, what do you mean I was right? I'm always right. I wanted to trade, you know, Brady for Garoppolo when we had Garoppolo in the house anyway. I wanted to get rid of the guy so we could have Garoppolo. It was time. Jeez, I finally get rid of him and then he goes and wins another Super Bowl. What's going on here? Yeah. Belichick, yes. Players are important, man. Players are important. That's all I'm saying, baby. That's it. You know, I know a lot of people, you know, when they speak of Belichick, it's like, oh, man, hey, he didn't need, you know, Brady. He could win with anybody. Cool. It's cool. But we seen in the first year away, what one team looked like, what the other team looked like, man. So, yeah. Now, granted, it's not a fair, you know, comparison, but we not worrying about all that. We not doing all that. We just simply going, you know, narratives right here. Narrative is Brady, first year away, goes out there, get him another ring. And we saw, like I said, what the Patriots look like. Ooh, Joshua, that's a good question in terms of, do I think there are any quarterbacks available through free agency that I think will be worth, you know, taking a flyer on or looking into? Um, the biggest thing in terms of the free agents, and we're not talking pending free, we're talking guys that will, you know, their contracts be over, not guys you're gonna have to trade for in terms of your Sam Darnold's, your Carson Wentz, and things like that. But guys that I think will be available, I don't personally like any of the guys that are scheduled to hit the market. Now, if you're talking about going to trade for guys, that's a different conversation. But in terms of the available guys, I think it's a lot of depth signings or bridge quarterback guys. In terms of your Ryan Fitzpatrick's, In terms of your Tyrod Taylors, those type of guys, they aren't franchise quarterbacks, right? But they can win you some games. They can get you out of a season if they need to. They're that level. So if that's what we're looking at, I'm cool. I'd much rather save it and just go draft a guy and go from there. Me personally, at least. Oh man, Chad, that's a good one. Do I think Cam Newton is done? I don't think so because watching him at times he showed flashes this year, but then obviously he showed what we've seen from him in the past in terms of just a lack of consistency from a passing standpoint. But we also have to remember what he was playing with in New England was pretty bad in terms of the personnel and stuff like that. Not a lot of weapons for him. And obviously they led the league in opt-outs as well from COVID. So it just wasn't the best scenario for those guys. But I just I think he could. I think he could still play in the right system, but I don't know where that is for him right now. I really don't. It was already questions surrounding him going into this season, and now there are going to be even more questions surrounding his health and his ability and things like that. I just don't know, man. I don't know. I think he's going. Like I said, I personally think he has stuff in the tank, but I don't know if he's going to get the opportunity in the right situations to showcase that. Yeah, but he had zero weapons out there, man. Zero. He said Belichick in the alley somewhere drunk and peeing on himself. Belichick is sick, man. It's a bad feeling. It's a bad feeling, baby. Sheesh. Man, I forgot about Todd Bowles down there, man, calling a great game defensively. Sheesh. I like it, man. And Bart, man, I will say this: the female referee, man, this was historic, man. The first time we get a woman, refereeing a big game like this in terms of championship game for the NFL. This was huge, man. It was good to see her out there doing that, just breaking down the barriers, man. So big time tip of the cap to her for that right there. Oh, and money bags. I forgot Aaron Jones. You are absolutely right. He actually they put a report out. This would have been over the I think it was Thursday or Friday where they were saying that we in terms of Pittsburgh were one of the top landing spots potentially for him this all season. Yeah, he's definitely he would be a nice addition, man. Catch dynamic. We saw the type of years that he was able to have, back to back seasons up there in Green Bay. Yeah, he's definitely a guy. Definitely a guy. Hey, Victor, man, if the Texans are willing to, relieve Watson of his duties via trade or however they would like to go about it, as much as I would love for him to come in Pittsburgh, I think he ends up in a Miami. I don't think he would. I don't think it's New York. I don't think he'll be at the Jets, but I could definitely see the Miami scenario. And not only does the scenario fit because obviously the way the Dolphins handled Tua last year, um, in terms of pulling him, putting him back in there, they never really 100% committed to him. You saw whenever he would struggle, they were quick to pull him out, and he wasn't even the starter at the beginning of the year and things like that. Even when they had said that he was healthy. So to me, I view that as them not being 100% sold on him. And if they could get a chance to get a Deshaun Watson, I think that they would do whatever it took to get him. And then along with the fact that they already have a trading relationship with the Texans, we've seen blockbuster trades. Obviously, the Larry Tunsil deal that sent him out there and Kenny Stills. You've seen, that the Dolphins and Texans are willing to will and deal with each other. So I just feel like it would be just a natural move that I'm gonna give you two and some picks. You give us Watson, and we're gonna roll with this thing, and just go like that. So that's personally why I think he ends up. Man, and our chances of being contenders next year, put it like this. I need to first see what we do at quarterback in terms of if Ben's back, what does that look like? And from a contract standpoint, right? We know that he's not going to play for the 41. They already said that from the cap standpoint. But the number in which he plays for is going to dictate the talent that they can acquire around him. If it's, 95, 97% of the roster from last year, I don't think that this team is built to win a Super Bowl. I think that they'll compete. I think that, they'll be in the playoffs, might even win a playoff game, but I don't see them having this crazy type of run with the roster as it currently is. But at the same time, I mean, if you go out there and you're able to somehow, hit on your first 2 draft picks, or you're able to get somebody through free agency because the money situation worked out a little bit better for you, well then, yeah, that could change the whole game for these guys, because defensively, they're good enough. They have weapons offensively, but they're going to have to figure out the offensive line situation. They got to figure out the running back situation. And currently, they have to figure out the quarterback situation as well. So that's, that whole dynamic. So we'll see, though. We will see. And I wish they could get Bud. That's another. I don't see it happening. Now, he could have a smaller market because he's coming off of the ACL injury, and especially with the ACL being so late in the season for him, oh man, yeah, it's done. Whew. And how fitting, man. Get you a little pick at the end of that thing. I could dig it. Sheesh. Wow. Yeah, that's crazy. That is crazy. Yeah, man. But back to what I was saying though about the Steelers in terms of them being contenders. Listen, I think they're gonna be they'll make the playoffs. They'll be a 10-11 win team, but unless they can find a way to get some type of splash offensively in terms of either when I talk about splash offensively, not even saying skill position, I'm referring more so to either you get a big time pickup for the offense line or a big time pickup at running back, not necessarily in name, but in effectiveness and productivity. If they can do that, then yeah, that'll elevate them. But if the roster comes back, like I said, 97% of the guys as they currently are, I think it's going to be a similar situation that we already saw, this past season, man, in terms of them leaving early. But, like I said, it's definitely going to be interesting. But wow, we really got this game with no Chiefs touchdowns. What is going on? Who could have guessed that? Shout out to the defense, though, baby. They say defense wins championships. And shout out to Bruce Arians, man. My man, yes indeed, Michael. You said my man went from last place with Jameis, famous Jameis Winston, to winning the Lombardi with good old TB12. This is crazy though. Hey, John, actually, I did not, man. True story. I was supposed to put money down on the Chiefs, and I forgot. I definitely did. I forgot. It's all good, though. It happens. It happens. But wow. All right. They say you're never supposed to go against Brady, though. That's what they say. Showed it today. Sheesh. Wow. I mean, let's really think about that, though, man. It's the first year down there, no offseason, and does this? Jeez. Huh. That's crazy, man. That is crazy. Sheesh. But hey, I will say this. Definitely been, great season in terms of these watch parties. We're going to definitely keep doing a lot more content. Like I said, Steelers draft party, we're definitely looking to do something like that. Also, we're going to be opening up and doing some more of the, not even doing more of, we're going to just start showing a little bit more of the lifestyle content and stuff, a little bit more behind the scenes content. So if you got any ideas and stuff that you want to see, oh man, I want to, hear about your cars. I want to hear about your shoes. I want to hear about this and that and that. Just let me know in the comment sections, man, whenever we drop some of these videos and stuff like that. But as a whole, man, y'all have been awesome like y'all always are when we do these things. Oh, and I forgot to say this, but if you haven't already, man, make sure you're showing love and subscribing. All right. And like I said, great year. Keep being great. Keep tuning in because we're going to keep the content rolling. So, like I said, it's been real. And until next time. Peace.